Little known facts about the James Bond films that are for your eyes only.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
Before every other prestige movie franchise, there was Bond, James Bond. Nothing can touch Ian Fleming's Secret Agent, at least that's what it seems like to fans. But these movies have gone through so many ups and downs over the decades, nearly veering out of control on more than one occasion. Many of these production secrets were so strange or unusual that it took decades for them to be declassified. It doesn't take a license to kill to know that Bond works for MI6, Britain's intelligence service. Although the character has been around since 1953, the United Kingdom didn't officially disclose the existence of MI6 until 1994. Jaws, played by Richard Kiel, made history as the only henchman to appear in multiple 007 adventures. However, the actor's metal dentures were apparently quite uncomfortable. And remember that scene where he bites through a gondola wire? That's actually licorice. Auric Goldfinger's preferred murder method is skin suffocation, or painting victims' entire bodies so they can't absorb oxygen. That is pure fiction. Humans don't breathe through our skin, but the Goldfinger crew left a patch of skin on actress Shirley Eaton's back unpainted, just in case. Timothy Dalton only made 2 007 appearances, but it took a lot out of him. While shooting License to Kill, he was speeding through a closed mountain road, until another vehicle somehow made it onto the set. He nearly swerved off a cliff avoiding the collision. Jinx, Halle Berry's CIA character from Die Another Day, was intended to have her own spin-off movie in the 007 universe. But after an astronomical budget proposal and poor reviews for her first film appearance, that script got canned. Roger Moore took on the 007 mantle after Connery quit the role for a second time. Surprisingly, Moore was actually 3 years the Scott's senior. And that wasn't the only oddity about his age. Holding on to the part for over a decade, Moore was 57 years of age during his final appearance in A View to a Kill. Reportedly, he felt too old during production, especially when he learned that he was older than the mother of the movie's female lead. After Daniel Craig inked his Bond contract, rumors suggested he would get free Aston Martins for life. While he has gotten to test drive a number of models, this deal sadly isn't true. But as Craig pointed out, London isn't the best place to own a luxury sports car. There was a real James Bond, but he was no secret agent. In actuality, he was a celebrated ornithologist. Ian Fleming thought his name was perfect for his super spy, as it was brief, unromantic, Anglo-Saxon, and yet very masculine. Liam Neeson, who had a career renaissance following the action hit Taken, turned down the role of James Bond in the early 1990s. At the time, Neeson claimed that he had never been interested in starring in action movies. Dr. No might be best remembered for actress Ursula Andress' iconic white bikini, which skyrocketed sales of two-piece swimwear. The original bikini went up for auction in 2001 and fetched over $50,000. Too bad the conch shell wasn't included. Sean Connery's casting initially caused quite the controversy, especially since a Scot was coming on to play a suave Brit. However, Ian Fleming came to enjoy Connery's portrayal so much that he retroactively changed Bond's heritage to Scottish. Years before Star Wars, Goldfinger marked the first appearance of a laser in film. The titular villain was prepared to execute 007 with the scorching beam, though in the original novel, his setup was just a simple buzzsaw. All those curls you see on Sean Connery's chest are real, but you might want to take a closer look at his head. With his hair thinning at a young age, the actor wore a hairpiece or toupee in every 007 appearance. GoldenEye wasn't just a 1995 Bond flick. It was also the name of author Ian Fleming's estate in Jamaica, where he did most of his writing. Today, the luxurious home functions as a resort. Ian Fleming based his spy novels off of his work in naval intelligence during World War II. That's why it's puzzling that his other notable literary creation was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a flying car in a children's story. To prevent other franchises from ripping off the Bond image, 007 actors are forbidden from wearing tuxedos in other films. However, Pierce Brosnan technically got away with it in the Thomas Crown Affair by wearing an unbuttoned shirt and loose bow tie. Most musical artists would give anything to perform a Bond theme. Tom Jones gave a few minutes of consciousness. During the final sustained note of Thunderball, the singer actually passed out in the recording studio. Maybe they don't have wheelchairs that shoot rockets, but MI6 agents are sent out with special spy gadgets. Based on reports, however, they tend to malfunction far more often than Bond's arsenal. In the late 60s, after Sean Connery stepped back from spy movies, an unknown talent was plucked from London streets to play the new Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. His name was George Lazenby. He was 30, and he'd met the film's producer by accident in a barbershop. The producer, Albert Broccoli, chatted with Lazenby and noticed a certain confidence about him. He noted that the man oozed sexual assurance and tucked him away in his mind for future reference. But Lazenby wasn't even an actor. As a matter of fact, he was more of a jack of all trades. He was a fantastic skier and had won several national skiing titles in his home country of Australia. Trained in martial arts, he was also a member of the Australian Army. After that, he became a Volkswagen salesman and mechanic, and moved to London to pursue a woman he loved. He was happy, and making good money selling to the city's wealthy residents, when he was spotted by a talent scout. Noticing Lazenby's tall build and good looks, the scout convinced him to try his hand at modeling. Lazenby wasn't sure at first, but he began getting consistent work that paid even better than car sales. Soon, Lazenby landed his first major modeling campaign for Fry's chocolate candy. Albert Broccoli, having remembered his barbershop encounter with Lazenby, saw the commercial and realized he had star potential. He called the actor up, and a screen test was arranged. Lazenby was stunned. They were thinking of him to play Agent 007? He set about preparing for the audition, making sure he looked the part. He even dropped money on a Rolex Submariner in a bespoke suit from Sean Connery's personal tailor. The day of the audition arrived, and Lazenby set out to impress. While sparring with a professional stunt coordinator to display his fighting skills, he accidentally punched the coordinator in the face. The strength and aggression wowed the producers, and they asked him back for another audition. But Lazenby wasn't sure if they were really interested, so he told them he couldn't come, fibbing that he'd be in Paris on another film. When they asked how much the film was paying, he pulled a number out of the air and told them £500 a day. "Go down to our accountant, and he'll give you the money," they said. "Be here tomorrow." Shocked, Lazenby agreed, and went. He was getting paid to attend a callback, something he wasn't sure had ever been done before. The callback went well, and afterwards, Lazenby met with director Peter Hunt. The truth came out about his callback trick. Hunt was stunned, and amazed. The guy had managed to outfox two of the most hard-nosed producers around. Lazenby was perfect, and the role was his. At first, he couldn't believe his luck. "At first I was very humble about it and naive," Lazenby said. "And then I got on the bandwagon and sort of said, I must be who they say I am, and demanded limousines and the whole bit. Then, almost immediately, he began feeling the stress." Lazenby was used to adventuring and being a free spirit, but his newfound lofty status came with stipulations. He was expected to do press interviews, promote the film, and maintain the classic Bond decorum. There was outside pressure, too. Bond was Sean Connery's role. How could Lazenby fill those shoes? Moreover, the contractual requirements to fit the Bond mold were huge, and producers expected Lazenby do the job by the book. Any break from tradition might cost box office revenue. Regardless, Lazenby acted his heart out. He conjured up actual tears over his on-screen love interest, and the surprising emotional side made his performance a hit. The movie made $82 million in profits, and critics and fans loved it more and more as time went on. As a result, On Her Majesty's Secret Service became one of the top releases that year. Producers noticed the success, and Lazenby was handed the offer that could make him a millionaire: a guaranteed contract to reprise his Bond role in the next 7 films. Anyone would have instantly said yes, but Lazenby thought it over. The hippie, peace-loving culture of the 70s had begun to sweep the nation, and he was convinced there'd no longer be a demand for the violent, gunslinging 007. So, against the advice of everyone but his manager, Lazenby turned down the offer and said goodbye to Bond. He grew out his hair and prepared for hippie-friendly roles, but, perhaps because he'd been typecast as an action hero, those roles never came. As time passed, Lazenby regretted his decision more and more. He had made the classic mistake of walking away before the next job was secured. He made money by getting into real estate, but 007 still haunts him. "I'm still waiting for that one right, perfect role, to set things right. I'd really love that chance," Lazenby later said. "Let this lesson remain with us all. A Bond in the hand is worth 2 in the bush."